All being well, I wanted to try a couple of slightly larger, although still relatively mild helicopters today. Although the wind is threatening to get up, so I'm a wee bit concerned there. This is the WLtoys V912 brushless. I charged the battery yesterday, so we connect the battery. Oh, there is no switch. I thought there was a switch. Well, it looks as if there was meant to be a switch. See, it says off on there. There's a place for a switch, but they've not installed it on this version. So there's a hole in the side and it says off on, so I thought there was a switch. I think maybe there used to be for some of them. I think the bigger one, the 913, has a switch. We'll see. I've got the 913 with me today. I don't know. See, whatchamacallit, the tent peg holding that little heli thing down makes me nervous. Actually, you probably don't need anything for this guy. This guy's big enough you could take him off right off the grass, I would imagine. You probably don't need a piece of cardboard or a heli thing for him. Okay. Well, we're certainly bound. Let's see if we can spin him up and get him in the air. I don't really feel comfortable at all going in circuit. Well, I can go circuits in front of me, but I don't want to go circuits round me because of the sun. My nose is running now. It's still kind of cold, but I can't really wipe my nose in this situation. See, now this is again a fixed pitch flybar helicopter, so even though he's a little bigger, I do not want to let him get much altitude because you know, if there's wind, you had altitude, he picks the wind up more as he gets up. You drop his power to bring him down and the wind blows him away. You give him power and lean him forward to try and bring him towards you, and he climbs. So basically we want to keep him, nice looking helicopter, quite. You want to keep him at a fairly moderate altitude. So this is the V912 brushless. They brought it out brushed first, then they went to a brushless version, although I think, I will look when I land it, but I think the tail motor is probably still brushed. See, really, that's full forward, and he's coming forward moderately, but he's not coming forward very violently, and that's pretty typical of a flybar fixed pitch helicopter. They don't have a lot of forward speed. And if there's wind, you know, that can be a real problem, because you can outwind that speed fairly easily, and so then of course he won't come back towards you at all. At least he's a bit bigger. I think I spent about an hour, this is just a big brother of the V911. I dropped my V911 in the long grass right over the hill there the other day, and it took me an hour to find it, because it was down between the rows of cut straw and whatever. And it was not easy to find. So he's got that orientation light on the front. There's actually a button to turn it off on the transmitter if you want to save battery by turning it off, which I could do, but I'm not going to fly him very long anyway. I just wanted to do a demonstration flight, and I'm hesitant to actually look down at the transmitter and try and find the button, to be quite honest, because the wind's going up and down and I'm paying attention to him, so I don't think I want to. I think we'll just bring him in for a landing now, such as he is. I mean, he's not flying too badly, but first time I've had him up for a little while. So the problem, you know, fixed pitch helicopters only drop, you know, they don't have any, they're fixed pitch, so you can't push them down with pitch. I'll just land him on the grass. I was aiming for the cardboard, but I didn't have enough patience to keep now he does not have a throttle cut, this guy, so I'm just going to, where are we? There's the light switch. It's the top one. It's the, see, we got various things. Light switch, model, multifunction, but now don't remember what, if anything, the others do, but the light switch does something. Don't see that the top buttons do anything much. Oh, that's the right hand button converts between low and high rates, and I did actually have him in low rates. And we don't seem to have a throttle cut, which is, yeah, I'd really be happier with a throttle cut on a helicopter, but anyway, because he's big enough, you could possibly still hurt yourself. Anyway, there you go, Sky Dancer, it says on it. The V912 flybar fixed pitch helicopter. Very much just the big brother of the, yes, and it is a brush tail motor. It's a brushless main motor with a brush tail motor. You can see that's the tail motor there, and it's brushed. Very much just the big brother of the V911. And in its bigger way flies very much the same way. It's got a lot more power, of course, and whatever. But WLtoys V912. So now this is the next size up. This is the WLtoys V913, and indeed I think the biggest one that WLtoys make. Again, it's really just keep scaling up the same thing. It's there's the V12s, and scaled up version of the V11, and this is the V13. Now this is brushed. This is not brushless. And this one actually does have a switch, unlike the 912, which I noticed they don't put the switch on anymore. Famous last words. He's not binding. No, now he's bound. Seems to like you to turn the transmitter on after the plane rather than before. This one, it's, you know, of course it's normal that we turn the transmitter on before we turn the plane on. This did not bind when I did that. It seems to prefer me to turn the transmitter on after the plane is already on. Okay, basically the same kind of, more or less the same kind of little WLtoys transmitter. Well, actually the one that comes with the V907 and things is a little bit nicer than this one. It has slightly nicer gimbals, I think, and of course it has switches for idle up and things because that's a collective pitch helicopter. This is a fixed pitch flybar, but it's still a nicer transmitter than comes with the V911. You can actually fly the V911 with this because they're all the same protocol. Just looking at the windsock, it is getting up. Whoa. Yeah, he's leaning a bit as he takes off there. And again, I mean, well, this is brushed as well. This does not overflow with power and can be quite difficult to persuade to go where you want it to go in the wind. It's a nice big helicopter, but and clearly meant mainly for flying outdoors because you need a fair amount of room to fly it indoors. I have actually flown it indoors. I've flown it at the community centre. But mainly meant for flying outdoors, you'd assume, with the size. But it doesn't deal too well with wind. You want to be careful. It can get blown away like a lot of these things. Take my hands off the throttle and scratch there, but I was able to do so. Nice, you know, nice visible helicopter. I've had it for a while, and touch wood, I can't really touch wood now, I'm flying the thing, but hopefully it's, you know, still seems to fly pretty well. And I've had it for a few years, and it's been flown quite a few times in different conditions, indoors and outdoors. Also got a light, so the light's sort of on the bottom of this one, rather than the front. Now, they write on the box of this one, bird's eye view of the world, but I don't quite know what they mean by this, because I don't think they even sell like an FPV version or a version with a camera or anything. You could possibly put a camera on it. I think actually I have maybe flown a camera on this one. I remember, I know it's one of these WLtoys ones I flew the drone view camera on, and that was a bit of a disaster because the drone view camera has Wi-Fi, and somehow the Wi-Fi seemed to interfere with the controls of the helicopter. I've flown the drone view on Spectrum planes and with absolutely no problem. Dropping him a bit because I don't want him getting too high into the wind there. But these are what's the protocol on these? I forget now. Fly Sky, I think. I think the V11, V912, V913, I believe they're Fly Sky protocol. As with 977 series are KN, and the 922 is High Sky. I have a 922, and it's, of all the helicopters I've got, it's about the only one I've never really been able to get to fly. I don't know why. There's just something not right about the one I got. I don't think it... Or maybe I did once get it to fly. I certainly can't get it to fly now. It's just squirrely, and I mean, it just won't take off. It just falls all over. Not this. This is fine. I'm talking about the V922. I wouldn't condemn all V922s based on the one I've got, but the one I've got I haven't had any luck with. Of all the helicopters I've had, I've got everything else I've always got flying and kept flying at some point, except the V922, which I gave up on eventually. And he's blowing away a bit in the wind here. I'll probably have him out indoors at the community centre again soon. I mean, a lot of these I'll probably have out at the community centre soon. You know, because it's we're getting through October now. In fact, they've already started flying. They were flying this week at the community centre, but so we'll have some of these out at the community centre. But I don't normally make videos at the community centre because, well, I don't even know whether the camera would work properly in there. The electrics might interfere with the sound, and anyway, there's lots of other people. It's, you know, crowded generally. Well, not this week apparently. Steve was saying that he was like the only person there, I think, on Tuesday, but. Close enough under the circumstances. It really makes me somewhat nervous that I don't have throttle cut, although I suppose it's okay. We'll just hold the throttle down. We'll just hold the throttle down, and in fact we can turn the helicopter off pretty quickly there. Use the switch and turn him off. Oh, go away. Just trying to turn the transmitter off without really looking at it, which is always a bit tricky. So there you go. Sky Leader, Sky Dancer, Airflow, Superpower. They can't make up their mind what they want to say about this, can they really? But anyway, it's the WLtoys V913. Yep, not a benign, a slightly larger benign helicopter. Not particularly twitchy or anything, you know. It's if anything, actually even less twitchy than the V911. Of which it's just the big brother. So if you want something single rotor and bigger that will fly quite benignly, easy to fly, they say 4-channel, it's not a bad choice. But I wouldn't fly it in a lot of wind, as I say, because it can be very hard to get back to you if there's much wind. Okay, so the last sort of mid-sized WLtoys helicopter for today is this one, which is the WLtoys Seeker RC Llama, otherwise known as the V915. I can't actually see where it says that on this box, but it is known as the V915. And this is basically just, well, more or less just a version of the V912 with a scale body on it. It's not actually, if you look at the board, it's not exactly, they changed the layout of the board and things a bit to make it scale. So it's not literally precisely just a V912 with a scale body stuck on it, but it's essentially a V912 with a scale body stuck on it. One slight issue with this is it comes with its battery sort of, you can take the battery out, but it comes with its battery essentially mounted in it. And the problem is the battery's kind of close to the gears, so the battery balance wire will tend to snag the main gear, so that's why I've got a little rubber band there just to hold the balance plug forward there. Now this guy does have a switch, and he's a brushed mode. This is, in as much as it's a version of the 912, it's based on the brushed 912. Seemed like the 912 wanted me to turn the helicopter on before the transmitter. That's what it seems to like. Normally, of course, the safe procedure is to turn your transmitter on before the aircraft, but these, for some reason, seem to be backwards. They don't like binding if you do that. They seem to prefer you to turn the helicopter on first. So quite nice looking, basically kind of a brushed V912 with a scale body on it. V915, no throttle cut. Just holding the throttle down with my thumb there. The wind, if anything, well, it keeps going up and down. Because it's died down a bit, but then it goes up a bit. Just keep an eye on it. Spin him up gently, and then get him in the air. Generally fine with helicopters. Doesn't seem to have a lot of power, and the wind is getting back up again. It's getting blown over there. So these are all basically mechanically the same, fixed pitch flybar. Big brothers of the V911. He's getting blown away. Yeah, well, the wind, I can feel, I mean, the wind on me, the wind is getting up considerably now. I can feel a strong breeze blowing on me, so I'm trying to get him down near the ground. I mean, problem is you get too near the ground with a helicopter, its own prop wash kind of interferes with it, but if you really get near the ground. But on the other hand, you know, you can pull these things near to you sometimes better by getting them near the ground than letting them go up much. There's quite a strong wind from sort of behind me and to my right now. Well, strong's pushing it, but distinctly a wind you can feel rather than just a breath of air. See, the problem is I can only bring him down by dropping power, but I gotta do it because I don't want him up far. Doesn't sound too healthy, this one, does it either? Well, it's a bit old, and it's a brushed helicopter, so generally speaking, you'd expect the brushless 912 to survive better. It's got a brushed tail motor, but nice looking helicopter this, but I mean, definitely the brushed 912 is going to fly better. That's generally true. You know, putting scale bodies on helicopters, they look nice, but it doesn't make them fly better. Quite the reverse. Helicopters with scale bodies almost always fly worse than helicopters that are just set up with the minimum required to function as RC helicopters. I hesitate to lubricate things, but this guy almost sounds as if he could do with a touch of grease here and there. He's on the squeaky side. Llama, Llama, of course, he's based on a real Llama helicopter. I'm no expert on the models of Llama helicopters, but I was trying to land him on the helicopter pad, but the wind pushed him back at the last minute. Well, there you go. He's also got a lot of fiddly bits that you have to be careful. They're very easy to break, these little fiddly bits. In fact, that one is broken. That one's been broken for ages. And I glued it again last night, but obviously the glue didn't hold. It's got lots of these little tiny fiddly strutty things which are rather easy to break. And that one, I didn't break that today. I mean, I broke it again today, but I didn't break it today in the sense that it's been broken for ages, that one. And I keep re-gluing it. There's the wire going to his tail motor, brushed main motor. A little light, I didn't even notice that. A little light flashing away there in his pseudo engine. Apparently this is a turbine helicopter the real helicopter is based on. Apparently, because that seems to be a model turbine engine that he's got on there. I guess we should turn him off, really, shouldn't we? Might as well, since he's got a switch. There you go. WLtoys V915 scale Llama more or less based on the what is based on the V912.